Okay. All right. Hi, guys. Good afternoon. These are my students for the day. Since I cannot see you, they are in your place. Oh, I miss and love you guys. Today, excuse me while I prop this, I'm using a cardboard box to hold my phone so I can be hands-free. All right. So I feel like this is actually probably a little bit better than the Promethean board. Okay, so what you will need today is a pencil, an eraser, a ruler,
Oof.
and a lined piece of paper and a blank piece of paper. If you don't have the blank piece of paper, just use the lined piece of paper, it's fine. I put the blank piece of paper over top of my lined piece of paper because I can see through it a little bit. But you can write right on the lined paper if you want. It just makes it a little bit easier, and it's just practice right now anyway. All right, today our target is I will create a city using by using horizontal, vertical, and orthogonal lines. And those are the only lines we are going to use during this entire demonstration. So I'm going to draw a line, and then you're going to draw a line. Now, I only have one ruler, so Jules has my ruler. I don't have a ruler. The other girls don't have a ruler. So we're going to use a pencil as our ruler because we don't have to measure. We are just making straight lines. So a pencil's fine. The side of a book is fine. You can use another piece of paper, whatever you can get that has a straight line. We're cool. All right, so we're going to start by making the horizon line, which we all know the horizon line is where the sky meets the earth. Okay, so we're going to draw right in the middle of your paper. Put your pencil in the middle. You're going to do this line lightly. I'm going to do mine nice and dark so you can see it. But you draw it lightly because we will erase this line. Most of this line. Okay, so the sky is up here, and all of this is the ground. In the middle of this line, we're going to make a vanishing point. So I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger. You can make yours small because we don't really want to see it, but I am going to make mine a little bit bigger just so you can see it. And this is the point where everything is going to appear to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it actually disappears or vanishes.
It's not.
All right. For the next step, we are going to do the orthogonal lines. So the orthogonal lines are any line that goes from the vanishing point to the corner of the paper. So we're going to do 4 orthogonal lines. So 1, the corner. My pencil's kind of short, and it's making it kind of wobbly. All right, sorry guys, I had to pause it because I had to let the dog in. All right, so finishing up, last corner. Oops, hit my fingers. All right. You can see mine is also not perfect, so if yours is not perfect, it's fine. So we have now our 4 orthogonal lines. This line here, this area here is going to be the road. The sides here are going to be the buildings. And then the top here is the sky. So we're going to work on the left-hand side here, and we're going to start making buildings. So I'm going to line my ruler up, and I'm going to draw a line from the top orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal. My pencil is not quite long enough, so I'm going to maybe like maybe a pencil length away from the edge of the page. I'm going to draw a line, and then I'm going to slide my pencil down and continue my line. All right, so we went from the top, not the top of the page, top of the page, but the top orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal. Okay. Now, at the top orthogonal, I always start by putting my pencil where I want to start. So I'm going to put my pencil here and line my ruler up with the edge of the page and draw a line straight back. So now we have a perfectly vertical line, straight up and down, it's vertical, from the top orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal. And then from the top orthogonal, we brought it back to the edge of the page, horizontal line to the back of the page. This line is the alley roof. So this is going to be the alley side of the building. This is the roof. This is what I refer to as the alley line because it shows the alley side here. To make the alley on the bottom, I'm going to put my pencil at the bottom orthogonal and take it to the edge of the page. So at the bottom orthogonal, where the vertical line meets the bottom, line it up, straight back, horizontal line to the edge of the page. So this now is the alley side of the building. So the flat side of the building is what we're looking at here. Since we already have a roof line, this is the front roof line all the way up, this orthogonal line. This line is the bottom of the building line. I am going to erase this top orthogonal here because we no longer need that line. So now we have we do need this. Don't erase the bottom. Don't erase this line down here. We will need that because that's going to be the sidewalk. You can leave that line. All right, next we're going to draw the second line for the front of the building, which I refer to as the facade line because I just think it's fancy, but it also means the front, like the front of the building. So to create the front line or the facade line, so from the top orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal, draw that facade line. You should see this, and you can see through. I'm kind of going with the lines on my paper. Oop, this one's a little bit off. My pencil rolled a little bit. So I'm kind of using the lines on my paper to line up these lines. And this is the first building. To create the next building, we're going to scooch our pencil over a little bit. And since it is a city, and in the city, the buildings are very close together. So we want them to be very close together, and the alleys are very tight and like skinny and dark and scary. So we're gonna make a dark, scary alley by lining our pencil or ruler up with the first line, that facade line, and draw another line right next to it. Then at the top, we're going to do the same thing that we did here. This alley line, we have to make the top, the roof, the alley roof here, and the alley road here. So going straight back, we're not going to go all the way to the edge of the page like we did before. We're just going to go to the building before it so that it looks like the building is going behind this one. And then we're going to erase that little piece of orthogonal. Oh boy. Okay. Dog's barking again. All right. So we have the alley line, the alley roof. Erase that little piece of orthogonal. And then we have the alleyway street down here. Now, the next building, as we work our way down to the vanishing point, these buildings are going to get skinnier and skinnier and appear to get smaller and smaller as we work our way to the vanishing point. So this next line here, I'll line my ruler up, top of the orthogonal, trying to line it up with the line underneath. I can see. Okay, so top orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal. And there's your second building. And we're gonna keep doing this same pattern. So we're gonna do the next building, maybe about a pencil length apart. Top orthogonal, bottom orthogonal. We're going to do a vertical line and then connect it straight across to the building before it. Then we're going to erase that little piece of orthogonal on top. Oh my gosh, y'all, there's a fly trying to buzz in my face. All right, so there's the alley. Now we need the facade line. Top orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal. There's our third building. You can see that the horizon line is starting to cut through our buildings. We do not need that line inside of our building, so I'm going to erase it. Then I'm gonna keep on doing that until I get to the vanishing point. So, ooh, I made that a little bit wide. I think it needs to be a little bit smaller than that. Okay, connect it. Vertical, horizontal, horizontal. Erase the top orthogonal. And then facade line. And I'm going to do another one. Try and make it closer. And it's still too far apart. It's okay. Connect it. Erase the top orthogonal. And put the facade line. Okay, another alley line. Connect it. The horizontal lines. Erase that orthogonal. When it gets towards the vanishing point, it kind of gets hard to erase that little orthogonal. You end up erasing more than you need. And facade line. All right, I am going to erase these. And touch up this. All right. Okay, now that we have everything done on the left side, we're going to do the same exact thing on the right side, but going the opposite direction. And it seems super easy, and you've got it down pat here, but for some reason, when you switch over and you try and go the other way, like your brain doesn't go with you. So we're going to do it step by step again. Maybe it is easy and you're super awesome. So we'll do step by step just in case. All right, line your ruler out. I'm going to go a little bit further from the edge because I have this giant box. So line your ruler up with the edge of the page, and let me squeeze in here and draw a line, a vertical line from the top orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal. And then from the top orthogonal, where it meets the vertical line, you're going to bring it back to the edge of the page, straight line, horizontal, to the edge of the page. Then we're going to bring it down to the bottom. where it meets the line here. Orthogonal meets the vertical line, horizontal line straight back to the edge of the page, and then where the rooftop alley is, we're going to erase that little orthogonal that we don't need. Boom. Okay, so we have our alley line. Now we need to make our facade line. So I'm going to line my ruler up with the top orthogonal. I'm trying to see, it's a little bit dark, trying to see the lines underneath, making sure I'm straight, parallel with the line before it. These lines have to be parallel. If they're not straight, your buildings are going to look like they're tilted. Okay, now we have to do the next one is an alley line, and it's the same pattern. So top orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal, connect it to the building before it, not the edge of the paper, and erase that little orthogonal piece up top. And draw the facade line. Make sure it's straight. Okay, again, the horizon line is cutting through my building, and my building is not going to be see-through, so I am going to erase it. Sounds like a dog fight out there.
Yep.
Okay. Again, we're going to make a dark, scary alley from the top orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal, making that vertical line. Then we're going to do the lines to connect it to the building before it and erase that top orthogonal line. And just keep doing that until you get to your vanishing point. Again, pause if you need to pause. Rewind it. Getting ready to kick some of my students out of my class right now. You're getting ready to go to detention. All right, as you work your way down, don't forget to erase those little orthogonal lines. It's getting difficult for me to see the line paper. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, I could take these all the way down to the vanishing point. If you don't want to take it all the way down to the vanishing point, you can stop somewhere around here. You will still need to have your horizon line here, but you can get rid of the top orthogonal line because that orthogonal line was only there to be the rooftop. So if we're not having any buildings down there, there's no need to have an orthogonal line down there. So let's get rid of it. So now it's just land. Get rid of this. Okay. And I'm going to leave the bottom orthogonal line because that's still the road. Okay, now let's do some windows. Oh no, let's do the doors. Let's do the doors first. Doors are easy. The windows are very, very difficult. Yay! All right, so for the doors are generally the same height. Every door, if you look around your house, look at all the doors in your house, they're pretty much the same height. So easy, lucky for us, we can line our ruler up with the vanishing point because the top of the door has to be orthogonal. So we have to do an orthogonal line. And if you line your ruler up, if you make your ruler low to the ground, so to speak, here, it's going to make your buildings appear to be very, very tall. If you pull your pencil or your ruler up and make the top of your building here, it's going to make your buildings appear to be shorter. So like this one would be like maybe a 2 or 3 story building, where this one would be like a skyscraper, like a really tall building. So I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. I'm going to do it right about here, just so that it's big enough for you to see, and then I have enough room up here to do some windows. So with my ruler lined up to the vanishing point, hold on to it, make sure it's always, always, always lined up to the vanishing point. While my ruler stays in place, I'm going to put a dash on the fronts or facades of each building. So these are all orthogonal because they're all lined up with the vanishing point here. Okay, see, put it back. All lined up to the vanishing point, orthogonal. That's the top of the door. To create the door, we're going to draw vertical lines coming straight down from the top of the door. So lining my ruler up, and I know that it's straight because I'm lining it up parallel with the edge of the building. So I'm gonna line it up and I'm gonna bring that line straight down. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Line my ruler up so that it's parallel with the edge of the page, or with the edge of the building. And I'm gonna bring that line also, my pencil's moving, straight down. So there's a door. And then if you have any pieces that are hanging over, just erase any little extra pieces. There. And do that for each door. Maybe this one, I'm going to make it a little bit skinnier, smaller door, so you can see better. Okay. This one here, I'm going to make a garage. So I'm going to make the line pretty close to the edge, and then the other one pretty close to the edge here also. And to make this one look like it's open, we need to draw what would be the, if we're looking inside this way, I would actually see this wall on the inside of this building. So I'm going to draw the bottom part of the wall down here. So with my pencil lined up, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I'm just going to show you. With my pencil lined up with that line and the orthogonal line on the bottom, I'm going to line my ruler up so that it's as horizontal as possible. And I'm going to draw a line to the other side of the door. So that way it looks like you could actually drive into this building. And then you can just continue the doors all the way down. When you're finished with the doors, you can go ahead and pause it and finish the doors. You can pull it back, replay it if you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and do the windows. And this is the hard part. So the windows are all going to be lined up the same. So when you look at a building, there's not a window here and one like kind of here and maybe one, you know, zigzaggy, all wonky. They're all lined up and straight. So we're gonna try and make them as straight as possible. And to do that, we're going to make sure that we have a bottom of a window and a top of a window. So we're gonna draw those lines first. So just like we did the top of the door, we're gonna do the top of the window and the bottom of the window all the way up the building. So lined up from the vanishing point, and I always put my pencil on the vanishing point so I know that my ruler is going to be lined up correctly. I'm gonna put my ruler right above the door because that would naturally be where the first window, I guess, would be. And hold my ruler here, and I'm gonna draw a line, put my pencil back. I'm gonna draw a line from the alley side of the building to the facade side of the building. That's the bottom part of the window. And scooch it up and do the top. Still orthogonal to the vanishing point, okay? Do one building at a time. So then I'm gonna scooch it up and bottom of the window. So we're gonna pivot, not slide. So pivot from the vanishing point, not sliding up so that they're all at the same angle. So pivot up and draw the line. Pencil back, pivot. So we have bottom of the window, top of the window, bottom, top. We're gonna do the bottom, pivot, top, pivot. This reminds me of Friends, if y'all watch Friends. Pivot, top. All right, so let's make sure we have the right amount of lines for each window. So we have the bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top. Okay, we have enough. So if we wanted to leave the building just like this, we could. That could be one set of windows, and that's perfectly fine. Some buildings have just glass pane windows across the front, and that's perfectly acceptable. If you wanted to make them like just separate windows, to do that, line your ruler up with the side here and making sure you're starting at the bottom of the window. You're going to draw a line from the bottom to the top, keeping your ruler in the same place because we want them all lined up perfectly together from the bottom to the top, bottom to the top, bottom to the top, and you got it, bottom to the top. Then this little extra stuff over here, these little orthogonals hanging out over here, we do not need. Can get rid of them. This project obviously cannot be done with a pen. It has to be a pencil, so you can erase. Okay. Just had a low battery warning. I hope everybody got that. All right, so we lined it up. Top of the bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. My arm's probably gonna be in the way when I do this, so I'm gonna go from the top to the bottom, bottom of the top, bottom of the top, bottom top, bottom top, and erase. All right, when we get back together, when I see you in person, I can show you like different ways to do the windows and some fun stuff to do with the doors. But for now, we'll stick with just this. I think that'll be enough for now, and you can just practice it. And each building will have its own door and its own set of windows. And now, of course, you can pause and finish that if you would like and come back in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead now and do the sidewalk and the street. So for the sidewalk, we are going to line our ruler up with I always judge by the first building. So I'm going to line my ruler up, and I want my sidewalk to be about this wide. That's totally up to you. And I'm going to draw a line, leaving my ruler here. I'm going to put my pencil back on the vanishing point, and I'm going to scooch over just a little bit. And, woo, fly. And, sorry. And make a second line. This is going to be my curb line. I should have made this a little bit bigger so that you can see. Here, I'll do it on this side. Make a bigger one on this side. All right, so we have sidewalk line, back to the vanishing point, make my second orthogonal line so that I have sidewalk, curb. So this is my sidewalk line, this is my curb line. And I'll work on this side since this is kind of skinny and it's hard to see in the camera. All right, to make the lines in the sidewalk, you know, the creases to keep them from breaking, I am going to actually turn my paper this way now because I want those straight lines. And I'm going to line my paper up so that I can see those lines through my paper. And I know that it's straight because I've made it straight with this and with the pink line there. So I'm going to line my ruler up with the lines that I can see through here. So I'm lining up with, you can't see it, but I'm lining up with this line here. And I'm going to draw a line from the sidewalk line to the building line here. Then I'm going to draw a line from the orthogonal sidewalk line straight down vertical to the curb line. Now this is going to look like a giant curb because I made these two lines kind of far apart so that you can see, but it should be more like this, not a giant step up. You shouldn't have to have a help up to get onto the sidewalk. All right, then as we work our way to the vanishing point, these lines, so I went 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So this is 4 lines long. I'm going to make them closer and closer as I get further and further away, because as it gets further away, it's going to appear to get smaller and smaller. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to line up with that line and draw that, and then straight down. And watch these lines too, because if these start to tilt, your sidewalk will look like it's, you know, the curb line will look like it's either tilted this way or this way. And just keep doing that all the way down. Line. And you'll see if you make one too far. So if I'm going to skip like 1, 2 here, this is only skipping 2, which I did here. If I just only skip 2 again, you'll see that this patch of sidewalk looks way too big, right? So I'm going to have to go in here and add another line. And pull those down. Okay, and there's your sidewalk. Now the street is, we're just going to do like the double line in the middle of the road. So in the middle of the road, we have 2 double lines that go all the way to the vanishing point. To make double lines, we're gonna do a series of 4 lines. So lining it up so that it's straight with a vanishing point, I'm gonna tilt my ruler a little bit to the right, and I'm gonna draw a line, and I'm gonna come right back. Then I'm gonna scoot it over just a little bit. I'm gonna do another line, come right back. And each time I scooch over, I'm trying to make it about the same width apart. So I'm doing this 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I color these double lines here would be like the yellow, even though I'm coloring it black. So these would be the yellow dot, not the dotted lines, but the yellow lines in the middle of the road. And again, when we come back, I can show you how to do the dotted line. I can show you how to do like one of the doors that you push and walk around, like the revolving doors and all that fun stuff. But for now, this is the basic stuff that you need to know. If you do a sun, like any kind of, like a sunrise or something back here, like make sure you're bringing it all the way down to the horizon line. If it goes over behind the building, if you're coloring the sky, make sure you're coloring the sky all the way down into these little areas here and around. And that's it. Good luck. I love you guys. I miss you. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.